Hi, I'm Julie Banderas, and you are in the strategy room. In his testimony to Congress, FBI Director Comey made news with the announcement that back in July of 2016, the agency investigated whether members of the Trump campaign colluded with Russia to influence the 2016 election. Now, officials say they have found no evidence of collusion so far. So what does this mean for the investigation? Joining me now to discuss, our trial attorney, Napoli, and former federal prosecutor and criminal defense attorney, Doug Burns. Thank you both for joining us. Marie, let me ask you first, why did the FBI wait until after the election to make it public that they are in the midst of an investigation?
Well, I think that's the question everyone is asking. I think it's 10 months when, during the election, they broke the story about Hillary Clinton's reopening of an investigation. And whereas here they were investigating something going on with the election itself that may have involved Donald Trump. So people are led to believe that this was playing favorites one way or another. But Mr. Comey said it was because her investigation was over. It was closed, but he was reopening it. So his explanation doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, the timing of all of that obviously had Hillary Clinton's campaign extremely upset. In fact, they blame Comey for her losing the election, and he was reopening the investigation. He wasn't closing it at the time.
No, it's an unbelievable.
Why are we learning about this
it's a
after
very
the election?
tricky calculus, because you start sort of with the general rule that the FBI shouldn't really be commenting on an ongoing investigation, period. So then, of course, he came out, and there was sort of bipartisan legal analysis saying, man, I can't believe he would do that, interject himself into an election, and so on and so forth. So I agree with you guys. And it becomes very, very tricky because the political atmosphere is so charged up, so heated, that everybody just wants to hear what they want to hear. So coming out of yesterday, did you see that? There's no evidence of wiretapping. And on the other hand, they are investigating Russian collusion. Case closed.
Okay, but
it doesn't lend itself to those type of sound.
They have no evidence of collusion so far.
Exactly.
And that's a problem. I mean, so they have no evidence. The investigation is ongoing. Typically, law enforcement don't talk about an investigation until it's over with, because you could potentially hamper the investigation. So now, do we really get answers? And are they going to find any evidence? And how long are they going to wait until they find that evidence? If there is such a thing, it could take years.
But I don't understand really what they're doing to research this evidence, because everyone has come out and said that they have nothing, no evidence. And I understand that the evidence came from newspaper articles rather than White House officials. So I don't really understand what they're doing within the investigation.
I find it extremely disturbing that evidence is coming from the media, and this is not the first time that we've heard of evidence being quoted by different media.
That's an excellent point.
I mean, what the heck? How in the world is media somehow involved in coming up with the evidence, or the facts, if you will, of an investigation as serious as the potential of Russia meddling in our presidential election?
Look at the wiretap thing, by the way, quickly, double back to that. The New York Times reported that there was surveillance, of the campaign, and it became really ironic because the president is knocking the New York Times, we can't
But he
trust
did
him,
like that article.
He liked that article.
Yes,
that's
true.
So, but back to your point, you guys are so right. I mean, when in the world do you see the media disseminating information when it should be law enforcement? But I mean, look, I'm in the real world criminal cases. Law enforcement doesn't say anything ordinarily.
No, I mean, I'm constantly doing interviews on criminal investigations, and I know when an investigation is undergoing, I mean, you've got to keep that information close to the vest, because you could potentially hamper the investigation. You could potentially scare a witness away from coming forward that would have normally, because now there's all this added pressure that the FBI needs to come up with something.
So either the newspapers are just incorrect, or they have a leak somehow. So either way, there's a problem.
Oh, there's a leak. I mean, there's definitely a leak.
Well, the leak is a very important reference.
There are multiple leaks.
There's so many leaks all over the place.
Within the FBI, within the Trump administration.
Which drives the political toxicity, because the point is you get the truth of whatever information it is, and then the argument, well, wait a minute, it was stolen or leaked. And one side, they won't complain when it's, one way, and then they complain in the other direction.
But who are we listening to, the newspapers or the White House?
So, but I'm saying there were bitter complaints about the leak of hacked information of the DNC and so on and so forth. But then when Trump's tax returns leaked, you hear crickets.
Well, yes, and when it did leak, it didn't really reveal much.
But I'm
And
just
that
saying,
was even.
well, it helped them.
It was
It helped
positive.
them.
Yeah, I think he
It
liked
didn't
that leak.
reveal what the media, the
Of course
mainstream
not.
media was looking
But the
for.
point being, nobody complained.
Here's what I got to ask you, though, and this is going to be our final question. You know, when it comes to this investigation, no, they haven't found any evidence, but yes, the FBI is investigating the president. How does that look for the FBI to come forward and say, we are currently investigating something revolving the president? It does not look good. It can't help.
Well, I don't think it helps, but I think it just shows that we have like an even-handed democracy.
Right.
There's the balance of powers is in place.
Right.
They don't want to look like they were one-sided towards Trump.
Well, especially after the election.
Right.
Exactly.
After
that,
revealing the investigation into
So now they're trying to show that they're independent.
They're being
not,
fair, they're
yeah,
being
they're being
open.
fair, and I think that's a good thing.
You think they're being
No,
fair?
no. Well, yeah. I mean, I think that they have to, you know, again, the leap of faith people make is, oh, my God, they're investigating, and that somehow gets equated semantically with somebody doing something wrong.
The
There
left
are
are
many
gonna run with
investigations that do not, repeat,
Right.
do not
Right.
disclose
Right.
that anybody
Well,
did
that's
anything
true.
wrong.
Nobody's been charged. Most likely, no criminal
point.
charges are going to come out of this. It's going to take years, and that's the bottom line.
And that's what they even said. I
Yeah.
mean, they don't have any information that
Right.
would show that there was,
Exactly.
but they need to investigate it.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, Marie and Doug. We appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure.
And for complete political coverage, stay right here at foxnews.com. I'm Julie Banderas. Thanks for watching.